This may just be my favorite segment for the whole show, right? Now, is there a silent expectation of manliness or manhood? Or is a man's role clearly defined? Stuart Dawkins zooms in on the topic, a man's role. Hi, Mr. Dawkins, how are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very happy you're here. I love this topic so much, Stuart. Let's talk about it. Let's get right into it. A man's role in the home. A man's role in the home, Stuart.
Stuart, I'm asking you, please, don't let me down. Don't let me down, Stuart.
Come on, Stuart.
All right, so firstly, I think there is this connotation that is looming in the air about manliness and what is expected of a man. And what I've experienced over the years is that the culture of manliness and masculinity has changed, and it's almost like we are so confused about our roles in the home, in church, in society, in the workplace, in relationships. And so it's, as I say, it's a bit confusing. But there are very prudent roles that men must play, irrespective of the cultural differences, irrespective of the economic situations. And of course, it's, for me, it's always being present. Let's start there. It's always about being present. And what really do we mean about being present? It's about being not just physically, but emotionally, psychologically connected with those around you, with those you interact with, your family, your spouse, your employees. It really is about being present, not just the body. The body is there. Yes, it's good to see that the body and you're counted, but really, does your number really count?
Listen,
that's
Stuart, I want to give you an offering.
Stuart,
yes, I want to give you an offering, Stuart.
Stuart, you just had a big pot and you shared out like a big bowl of everything or a lot on a man's plate. Because when I talk about being there, you said present, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
Don't you see that in some cases, being there emotionally, financially, mentally, it's sometimes you can't necessarily do it as effectively because one is more pertinent than the other?
Again, it's relative. What is important to you in the moment is not necessarily important to another man in the moment. And so we tend to respond to situations as men how best we think is needed for that situation. And so, yeah, the finances is important. But if you take a step back and you look at how we are grown to be providers. What does that really mean? We're going to always have a big bill full with money in it. That means that we are provided. But we need to change the language. We need to change that way of thinking. Also, being present has to do with knowing who you are.
Yes.
Who you are as a man and who you define yourself to be as a man. And society dictates that men must do this, they must do that, but does that really fall in alignment with your values, with your consciousness, with your way of being every single day? So being present is important. Money is important. Don't get me wrong, I need money. Send on the money. You understand me? We can't be more happy with less money, right? But what else matters?
Yeah.
Things that matter are quality time.
Yeah.
Finding quality time for self. One of the things that I do, and I recommend this to all my friends, and those that I come in contact with, those that I interact with when I travel, spend time with yourself. Go on a date with yourself. To talk to yourself, you see me? Talk to yourself, because
I'll talk to myself. I'll talk to myself.
You spend time to sit and think about what it is that you're experiencing. Yeah, brother, answer yourself.
Yes.
Because sometimes when you talk to yourself, you can hear what's happening. When you voice it out, it's like writing a business plan. You put it to this beautiful concept on paper, and then you go, I never think about that part then. I never go on dates with yourself, lock up in your house, drink a bottle of wine, drink a any, do what makes you happy, but spend that quality time with yourself to really know who you are. One of the things too that I believe that men are not encouraged to do, and they should really do, is learn to meditate. Learn to meditate. Silence the noise around you, right? And so that you can figure out what is your role in this life? What do you see for yourself? You know, I remember I just want to share this experience real quickly. So I went to get lunch on Monday, and here's this guy, seemingly homeless, and he recognized me from the church that I go to. And he called the name of the church, so of course he grabbed my attention. And right away, he started saying to me, boy, COVID and life, and now he's homeless. And I know where it's gonna go. He's asking me for some money. And I thought to myself, all right, I'll give it a change from the food that I'm gonna pay for. And something said to me, give him your lunch money. And I gave this man $1,000. And when I gave him the $1,000, in an instant, that man became a baby. He started bawling in front of me. He started crying. He became so vulnerable that he started crying, and he walked away, and he tried to tough it out and he come back. And he looked at me, and he grabbed my hand to shake my hand, and he pulled me in and he hugged me and he said, brother, I know it's a COVID time, but me just have to thank you. Because a lot of people don't spend time understanding that men's health is important. So we carry this big burden to be providers, but who spend the time to figure out what's really happening to our psyche, What's really going on upstairs? And then we tend to project on our women sometimes. I'm sorry, ladies, it's true. We project on you and then we say that women all they want is want, because we don't spend the time to filter out the noise in our heads.
I have a question. See my hand up here? Yes, right. No, yes, I agree. Men should spend some time with themselves, but I also think that sometimes in spending time with themselves, they become very quiet. And I also think that they don't communicate very well. So in the event that they're not able to, carry out their roles in the home or otherwise, they don't say, like they wouldn't say, honey, so this month is a bit rough for me to do this, so can you help me here? Versus just thinking to themselves, she's supposed to know, say, we can't do all of this, I think it would be very good for, the relationship if a man is able to open their mouths and say, this month or for this particular thing, I can't do this.
That's a vulnerable place.
That's a very strong point.
It is a strong point. It's a strong point, but it's also a vulnerable place, and it's based off trust. And I mean, this is the tip of the iceberg, Stuart, and we could have this discussion for way longer than the time
that's
allotted here. And Stuart, we definitely need to call it to come back another time so we can talk about this some more. But most importantly, it all begins with self-awareness.
I'm ready.
So Stuart, Senior Sales and Marketing Executive and Senior Mentor for 2 non-profit organizations, Back to Life Jamaica and Friends of a Child Help Foundation. Thank you for joining us so much. And have a beautiful one. And definitely talk.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stuart. That topic needs real fleshing out, man. We need good time to do all of that. Trust me, guys. We're going to go for a break. When we come back, much more right here on Smile Jamaica. We can smile. We can smileys.